Hi, and this is Barb Cooper from helpmysquashgame.com. Hope you're having a fantastic time. It's summer, and this is the time when you should be training the hardest. And when I'm watching people doing their drills and stuff like that, one of the biggest things that's striking me at the moment is so many people work so hard at actually hitting the ball. Getting to the ball in squash is really difficult. That's hard work. But your legs do that. Striking the ball in squash is easy. It's supposed to be an easy vertical swing. It's supposed to feel more like a golf swing than anything else, and you're not supposed to be trying to hit the ball. So when you're practicing, can you maybe visualize something like walking in a field with daisies and happening to have a stick, and just think about knocking the head off that daisy with your stick? That's about how much work you should be putting into actually striking the ball. And that's where people, I think, get confused, because they're working so hard to get to the ball that they think that striking it has got to be just as hard. That's not true. It's easy to move the ball, difficult to get there. So there's a thought for you just as you're playing. And if you could be your own tension police and try and take that tension out of your body as you're striking the ball, you'll find your shots will be so much better and so much easier to play, and again, so much more effective. And talking about this idea of being more effective, I thought today I want you to take your destiny in your own hands as far as squash is concerned. And what I mean by that is, when you play squash nowadays, every point counts. Well, that means that you've got to be much more aggressive in your shot making. And I was thinking about the most useful shot for you, and I came to the conclusion the best shot you could play or learn to play effectively was the volley drop. You know, I played a match in Vancouver. It was a World Masters final, and for 2.5 games my coach had been saying to me, drop the ball, drop the ball, drop the ball. And for 2.5 games I didn't. And finally, it was against a woman called Di Davis. I was 2-love and 7-4 down. And I decided that I had nothing to lose and I would start to drop the ball. And I started playing volley drops from mid-court. Honestly, I turned that game around and I ended up winning it. And every time I played that volley drop, I thought for sure she'd understand that I was going to do it. But you know what? She never went for it. It was amazing. And I'm just trying to get you to start thinking on those lines. Now, a great resource for that is something that Black Knight brought out with Chris Walker. They partnered with him, and it's got a DVD on all sorts of training things to do, but it has a great section on volleys and volley drops, and I'm suggesting that you go and look at that, or go to YouTube or go to my website. You'll see, if you went to Play Better Squash, you'll see a whole bunch of videos on that particular topic. But think about the volley drop. It's going to be played from mid-court. You've got very little risk if your opponent's behind you. They're definitely going to have to go and get it. So if you could start getting effective on that volley drop, you would make a huge difference to how you played your opponent and how much work they had to do, and your effectiveness. Going on from there, I mentioned to you before how to build one of these and how to use it for massage to actually lengthen your muscles while you were training. Well, we're all about growth and improvement. I'm going to show you the next evolution of this idea. Have a look at it. So this is a lacrosse ball, so it's solid rubber, given to me by my personal trainer. And if you want to find knots in your muscles, this is the way to do it. Just run your leg around until you find that knot and then hold it there. And if you want a bit more intensity, just put the other leg over it to add a little bit more weight. Excruciating, but useful. And now it's time for Ask Barb. And I got this question from Todd, and he wrote in saying, how come I play so brilliantly one day and I feel like I play so badly the next. And you know, I think this is an issue that a lot of squash players have. They think they're playing really well when they aren't necessarily. You know, squash is one of those games where if you play the wrong shot at the wrong time, but you execute it too well, you will still win. So in other words, if I said to somebody, I am going to hit every ball into the backhand back corner, and did it, if I hit the ball so well that they couldn't get it, I would win. The problem is when I play somebody the same level as me or better, because the moment I do that, now we've got a problem, because if I start playing something that is strategically unsound, in other words, I hit the ball back to them without making the move, I will pay the price. And so often what happens is you play somebody the same level as you or better, and instead of playing your volley drop and you have them still in front of you and getting away with it and even winning the point, now when you play a volley drop and they're in front of you, you'll eat the next shot. So I would first look at what your strategy is. Are you playing the right shot at the right time? That's one thing. And then the next thing is to look at your defensive game. Because if you cannot bring your opponent to the back of the court, you cannot get in front of them, you cannot win the point, because you're not really in an offensive situation. So I would look at it in two parts. And not blame yourself for playing badly. I think you're probably playing a very similar sort of game. The problem is the shots that worked against one opponent, the next opponent eats for breakfast. And then you start to feel like you're under pressure. Anyway, I hope that helps. This is Barb Cooper from helpmysquashgame.com, signing off.